Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Tell Me Yours, a storytelling podcast with me, your host, Trey Everett. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Tell Me Yours, a storytelling podcast with me, your host, Trey Everett. Today I have a crazy story, a hilarious story, told by a great friend. Wes Chavez is on the pod today. Wes Chavez is an actor, a really brilliant singer-songwriter, just a great creative mind. He is the frontman of an indie folk band in Southern California called Moonlight Graham, of which I am also in. I know I normally plug our Patreon at the end of episodes, but if you are not currently a subscriber to patreon.com/tellmeyours, this is the week to get started. I have an exclusive with Wes where he plays a brand new song he's written. It is not recorded, it is not released, it is only available at patreon.com/tellmeyours. Super thankful to Wes for playing that. It's such a beautiful song. But he brought the goods today. This was a hilarious, crazy, insane story. I'm not even worried about overhyping it because you genuinely will have no idea where it's going. I'm so excited to get into it, so I'm going to skip the rest of whatever I was going to say right now, and let's get to it. Please welcome Wes Chavez.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I can see you too, bud.
I know. I had to uninstall and
wait,
reinstall.
Really? Oh
yeah,
shit.
I really did. I was on the phone with them for a super long time, and they were just like, "You did what?" And I was like, "Yeah, I accidentally made like my hard drive, like my starter drive, and I've just had this like kind of Franken computer, and I can't access stuff without, or I can't make it run without having my external hard drive set up." And then they're just like, "Okay." They're like, "I know what you're saying, but like, that's really an interesting issue."
You're like, I promise it was intentional.
Yeah, well, it was based off of like complete stubbornness. I just didn't want to get rid of the memory, to update the computer. Because I was like, I know I have the space, and I was like, well, I'll just use this, and then it just totally transformed my computer into something completely different. So that's been what I've been rocking with for like 3.5 months, and I'm like super stoked that I have this set up now. Are you including this part?
Probably not. I don't know. I might cut it up and see what happens.
I didn't know. I had a feeling that you were gonna go Pete Holmes on it. All right, cool. Comfy. Actually, you know what?
I love it.
I'm gonna grab one more brewski and bring it over.
Do your thing, man. Do your thing. Grab a beer.
BRB.
What are you drinking?
I have a brewski. I have a LaCroix.
Oh wow! It came prepared.
I'm going for all the suds.
You got your beverages.
Mm-hmm.
And you are going to tell me a story that I've never heard before, which I am particularly excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know all your stories, basically.
Yeah. I'm a walking rerun, especially considering this story, because I've been telling it like nonstop since I got back from my trip.
I love it. And your trip was like, when did you guys get back?
Oh, I was in the mountains this past weekend with my family, and then the weekend before I was in Nashville.
Okay, so it's been like 10 days.
Yeah.
And I'm probably the only one of your friends who hasn't heard this story yet.
Yeah, possibly.
I love it.
Actually, no, there's been other people where like they're just like, "How was your trip?" And I'm like, "Oh, I have a cool story to tell you."
Oh, perfect.
It's not even a cool story. It's just like a thing that happened, which is just yeah, I guess is the whole thing. It's a weird thing that happened. It's like a Mad Lib.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I am all ears.
So we got our friend Bobby and Angela. We're going to Nashville.
Just for fun?
A trip that was planned like spontaneously by Bobby, and it was I was like, sure, like let's do it. I'm down, because they haven't been, but I've been before, and it's a city that I would definitely return to
for sure.
Again,
yeah, for sure.
Even after this trip.
Oh Jesus.
And then so like it's like like steadily approaching, like time does not really exist right now, so I had no idea when it's gonna happen. And then like we had some milestones to like get throughout the year, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh crap, we're going to Nashville. So it all like kind of arrived quickly, and then we were just there for like the weekend, like got there like Friday evening, and then left Monday night. Everything's pretty rad. Like traveling was not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It's the first time I traveled. And then
Ever?
first time
No,
I
I'm just
traveled,
kidding.
yeah, ever. First time I traveled ever. I just realized I kind of left that hanging.
Yeah, this is
It was
the first time
yeah.
I've ever traveled. It was
I've
great.
ever traveled.
There's so many other places you can go.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. So we arrive in Nashville. We get to our hotel. We have like a little bit of our night ahead of us. It's like 9 o'clock. We end up going to this like kind of downtown district area. So it was like Friday night, and like we're like in walking distance to like Midtown, which is kind of, I mean, it's not like, maybe it is a little college-y, but like they just have like cool bars and stuff. So we walked there, and we went to this bar called Losers, and next to it is Winners. So we chose to be the Losers. So we get into this bar, and like we're having a great time, and I'm looking, and I mean, I don't want this to sound like overly political, but it's just an observation. Okay. I was just like, no person in here has a mask on, like on or in or around themselves. Like this place does not care, which I knew going into it. And I mean, I understood the risks, I suppose. But like seeing it, and we go into this bar, like the roof seems smaller than like a roof should be. Like these people are just like in this place, and the band is killer. The band is great, and we're having like a great time. Just like kind of people watching. It's like magic. Just like the people watching ability there, and you kind of missed it like during the pandemic and everything.
I don't want to say they're pretending that it doesn't exist anymore, but they're kind of pretending it doesn't exist anymore.
Like this is what this place is. Like all of these places have like mask mandates on their like front windows, and nobody does anything about it. And like luckily, like it's a super nice city. Like everybody's super approachable
for sure.
And everybody's kind for the most part, I guess. I mean, the people that I met were. Yeah. So there was like an element of that first night where we were in this place where like this is like the start of our trip. We're gonna have a great time, and I'm like, nobody in here has a mask on their person, and I can be pretty confident in that. And they're having a great time, and this band again is killer. And then I have this thought where I'm just like, I'm looking at these people, and I'm like, we're in like middle America. It's a fantastic time, but I'm like, if I felt this quote unquote free, I would be scared that my quote unquote rights were being taken away too. And then I was like, had like a pit in my stomach where I was like, oh man, this is tough, because I'm in this place. It's like a pretty like, it's like a Pleasantville, but like weird, where like, you know, I don't know. I know that's like kind of like a political rant, but it's like a thought that I had where I'm like, oh, like
I will allow it because you're one of the least political persons I've ever met. So I think it's fair for you to have thoughts like this.
No, I mean, I do have thoughts like this, but I don't care to like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but like seeing them, I'm just like, oh, like I get. I mean, I don't get, but like seeing them like party and have like a great time, I'm like, okay, I get why they're mad of like being like told what to do or whatever, or like not considering the other. And I was like, oh, we are fucked.
Oh no.
But I'm like, hey, they're having a great time. So.
Oh my god.
So we're at that bar, and we're having like a good time, and you know, people watching is great, and then it just kind of like that night kind of like fizzles out because we have like a long day the next day, which is Saturday. So Saturday comes around, and the city's very walkable. So we start we start at like a bar kind of close to Losers, the place we were at the night before. We have like a drink there, and then we maybe walk like half a mile to like some other spots, and we're just kind of like hitting places along the way. Like, I don't know I mean, we've done that in a city before.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're just like hitting places, grabbing a drink, and then hitting places, grabbing a drink. Unfortunately, not eating that much.
Okay.
Oh no. And then it's not terrible. Like you're walking, everything's cool. We went to Old Smoky, that like moonshine place. This is probably like an off-site location where they make like moonshine cocktails.
Cool.
So I didn't want a moonshine cocktail, so I got a beer and a shot. And then everybody, like Bobby and Angela, got cocktails and stuff. Angela brings up that her friend wants to meet up. She has a friend from there. I don't. There's a bar in Fullerton called Slide Bar, and her husband used to own it. He was the bassist in Lit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I won't sing a song because I know you can't afford it.
Also, no one would know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, right.
Except for you and I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was a pretty popular album. Anyway. So they lived in Orange County, and then they moved to Nashville. And he was was on tour with Hoobastank in Florida. Yeah. So she had a free night, and she wanted to see her friend Angela. So we meet up at this like barbecue joint. It's like 3:30 or something, and like we're just like never met her before, and she was perfectly fun and pleasant, and we had a super good time. And she kind of showed us around. So we went to Broadway, where the like honky tonks are, and these honky tonks are like so rad. They're like dive bars on steroids, like 4 stories of just nonsense, a live band on like every floor. And the one that we really wanted to go to was it's called Kid Rock's Honky Tonk and Kick-Ass Steakhouse.
Okay.
Literally. There's neon. There's a neon sign outside to prove it. It's pretty rad. I've been there before. It's just like a compound of debauchery. It's
perfect.
Cool. And then we wanted to go there first, and then we go in, and as we go in, like the fire alarm's going off.
Oh my God.
And people don't know whether to like go in or out. So we're like kind of in this like limbo, like in between this place. And then we're like, no, let's just go to another spot. So we go to Robert's Western World, which is like one of their first like honky tonks. It's super rad. It's not as crazy. There's more like history there that you can just like tell. Okay. They serve like fried bologna sandwiches and stuff. Like it's perfect. Like it's all like the same prices for like that it's always been. Like a $2.50 for like a Pabst.
That's awesome.
So go there, get another beer and shot. Okay. Have a great time watching music, and then we start going to other spots. We go to like this place called I think Tootsie's, and then go to like some other famous places. Just do basic bar hopping things.
Yeah.
So Angela's friend Lauren, who lives there, started to bring up, not name droppy at all, but she was just saying like, oh, there's like a Predators game. This city's so walkable that the Predators arena, like the Bridgestone Arena, is like a block away from where we are. That's like cool. You can just leave and really just like go to a bar. So she was like, she just brings up casually that she's like actually friends with Kid Rock's wife. Okay. And I was like, all right, that's cool. And then she was just like, just bringing it up, and I was thinking like, that's pretty random and neat, I guess. And she's like, yeah, she's at the Predators game. I was asking her if she was going to go to the honky tonk after Kid Rock's honky tonk and Kick-Ass Steakhouse after the game.
It's like one of those places where you have to say the full name every time you reference it.
Yeah, you have to. It's actually the password to get in. If you don't slur it, you can like get in. And then she was kind of saying like, oh, like she actually texted me like she's gonna go to the bar after. And I was like, oh, that's cool. We can be in there with Kid Rock's wife, which is weird, but cool, I guess. And that'd be a good way to go. Because, like, some of these places get so packed. Like, there's, like, lines. And we're like, okay, if we can bypass the line for sure. And she's like, yeah, she'll go after the Predators game. And I look at my watch. We've been going for, like, the whole day.
Okay.
It's like 6:45. The Predators game starts at 7. I'm like, hockey games are no joke. They last a long time. Like, there's 3 quarters, 2 intermissions. It's weird. And it's a long time, and I'm like, honestly, like maybe we should like. I was like, I don't know if we should do that, but sure, I'm just gonna play along because I'm not gonna like want to go home that early. But also like I don't know like how turnt she wants to get or whatever.
For sure,
and,
for sure.
So I was just like, okay, let's just like wait and chill, and then we went to another bar, then we went to another bar, and then just kind of getting like one drink every place we go. Mm-hmm. And I see the screen on another bar, and I'm like, oh, the Predators game is on. I'm like, oh, they're winning 3-0. I was like, do you think she's gonna like maybe bail early because they have a lead? Not really. Like I'm just assuming, just questioning. And I'm just
asking.
Yeah, I'm just curious. And then it was like 20 minutes later, and she's like, oh, she's actually gonna leave. Like we should like she said that we can meet him at the side. And I was like, all right, sweet. Like let's go do it. So we show up to the side of the honky tonk, Kid Rock's honky tonk and Kick-Ass Steakhouse. And we're like bypassing the line. The line's in the front. We're kind of on like the side of the building. The building is on like the corner of the street. And we're kind of waiting, like security's out there. And we're like, oh, this is weird. And we're kind of like waiting like by security. And then all of a sudden this black Rolls Royce shows up. Like Jesus. It is like legit. And I'm like, what is happening right now? And this like attractive woman comes out. And I'm like, okay, I'm sure that's Kid Rock's wife. And she gives Lauren a hug. And then she was like, hey, they're all with us. And on the other side, the door opens, and out walks Kid Rock himself. And I'm like, what is happening right now? I'm like, I'm watching this. I'm like, number one, this is weird. And number two, I just thought we were hanging out with the wife, which, I mean, and then now we're just in the corner, and the wife is like, oh, they're all with us. So we are walking in with, like, as Kid Rock's posse in his own honky-tonk steakhouse, walking up this
is your kick-ass steakhouse.
Yeah. And that was not lost on me throughout the entire thing. I'm like, this is so weird. Like, from how the morning began to us, like, doing this right now, I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, I just want to enjoy this ride. So I'm walking up the staircase. We're getting to, like, the second floor. I'm like, if I get, like, 5 steps behind this group, these security guards are not letting me back in. I'm like hugging tight. It's like me, Bobby, Angela, Lauren, like the wife, and then Kid. I'll call him Kid. And I'm like, this is so weird. We're walking up. The second story looks down on the first story.
Okay.
That's and cool. It's a great layout. So there's like a big band that kind of plays towards, like, the front. There's, like, a big stage, and we walk through, like, some people, and we go to, like, this, like, VIP plexiglass, like, door thing. And as soon as we go in, the door closes behind us. We're in Kid Rock's, like, VIP booth with him and his wife. As soon as we walk in, like, buckets of, like, beer are just, like, followed in with us, and, like, we can just have, like, whatever. And he's standing there. He's wearing a camo vest. He's wearing a hat representing Kevin Costner show Yellowstone.
What?
Like, dude, I don't know, man. Swag. And he's like smoking a cigar that's, like, pretty pungent. And we're just, like, standing there, and he's kind of just, like, lingering, like, I mean, not lingering because it's freaking his VIP booth, but he's just like, he's, like, standing. Obviously he has no idea who we are. Like, he's like, okay, these are just, like, my wife's friends. So I'm not drunk enough to have, like, a conversation with him, but I'm like, well, it's only polite to go up and meet him. So I go up. Actually, Bobby goes up first. I'm pretty positive. Bobby goes like, hey, nice to meet you. Thanks so much for having us. He's like, I'm Bobby. And then Kid Rock goes, hey, yeah, for sure. He's like, your name's Bobby? My name's Bobby. Like, Bobby's a cool name. Like, I was like, this is weird still. And then I just went up.
Wait, is Kid Rock's name Bobby?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
I did a lot of research on him the next morning. I had not thought about Kid Rock for such a long time. And here I am, like standing before him.
Yeah.
And it's so weird. Because I'm just like, this is like the ball with the ball, the bang, diggy, diggy guy. Like, my name's
Kid
Rock. Like, yeah. So I go up and I introduce myself, and I'm like, hey, like, I was like, thanks so much for having us. Didn't really know what else to say, and he was just like, oh, help yourself to, like, beer, like, have a good time. And I'm like, thanks, man. And that was kind of it. That's not the end of the story, but that was just, like, it with him. And then, like, we're just enjoying our time in the VIP booth. We're looking over the stage, and we can see this, like, band playing, and all of a sudden the band finishes their song. You could tell they're kind of closing the end of their set, but they're doing this thing where they're auctioning off songs. They have, like, two buckets, and they're like, if we fill up this bucket with $100, we'll play Devil Went Down to Georgia. If we fill up this bucket, we'll play Buck Cherry's Crazy Bitch. And I was like, that's
a great idea, actually.
Okay.
That's like a killer idea.
Okay, well, Kid Rock would hate you.
Oh, no!
So
Kid Rock would hate me for a multitude of reasons.
I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty sure Kid Rock hated me. He, like, I mean, yeah, he saw me, like, and he was just like, what the hell? He's like, all right, I'll just be nice to this guy.
I love it.
We're, like, leaning over this railing, like, watching this band do this, like, kind of auctioning off thing. And I, like, look over to my right, and it's me, Bobby, and Kid Rock just, like, leaning over watching this thing. And then my friend Bobby turns to me and he goes like, oh my God, dude, he is so pissed right now. And I'm like, wait, why? And then Bobby's like, they're, like, killing time. Like, he hired them to play for 3 hours and they're spending, like, 15 minutes trying to get, like just money. And I was like,
shit.
I was like, God damn, like, and obviously I don't want this to be the tag of the podcast, but, like, in that regard, I respected Kid Rock, like, pretty hard. And I was like, dude, for sure.
That's got to be the title of this episode.
No.
Kid Rock.
No. But, like, I mean, he was fine. But, like, I didn't have enough time.
That's great. I think I just assumed that they were like playing their final songs while they were hyping up these buckets.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've only been to Nashville a couple of times, but last time there wasn't really that type of like auctioning off happening. I feel like maybe it's like a post-pandemic thing where they're like, dude, we haven't played music for like a year and a half. Which is fair, yeah. And like we need to like rebuild in like some regard. So I understand, I guess. But
at the same time, like as a business owner, I'm like, no, I've hired you to do this thing.
Yeah, for sure.
You're getting paid. So fucking do the thing I hired you for.
Yeah, and I was kind of annoyed too because I'm like, I'm sitting in this like, I have a great vantage point of this band, and I want to watch them play. And the entire time since we arrived, they've been auctioning off.
Oh wow, okay.
Stuff. So I'm just like, oh man, like I just want to see them play some music and then just hang out. So Kid Rock is like kind of like arguing with like some dude next to him, not arguing, but like complaining about the thing. And you could see like the drummer who's on like an elevated thing, like look up and be like, oh crap, like Kid Rock is here. And then Kid Rock is kind of like about to like yell, and he's like, hey, and the drummer looks up and he's just like, play some fucking music. Play some.
Oh my
he's like,
God.
Play fucking both, motherfuckers. And I'm like, I was like, oh my. This is like dad rage. I'm just like, this is intense. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, this kid has dad rage, and and then I'm like, holy crap. And then all of a sudden, the lead singer, who's like preoccupied with trying to auction off music or auction off these songs, like was like, oh crap, like he's here, and then was like, all right. And then they just go into like, hey, you're crazy bitch, and just like go like right into it, and then immediately after that they just go into Devil Went Down to Georgia. Like yeah, it was like hilarious. So like we got the tunes that we wanted, but dude, like looking down, it was like a sea of people. Like this bar was packed again. COVID doesn't exist there.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny how these people were like looking up at us, like being like, oh my God, like who are those people up there? Like it was
standing next to Kid Rock.
Yeah, standing next to Kid Rock. Yeah, and I was just like, this is such an odd experience right now. And then it got to the point where I was like, we've been like freaking walking and drinking all day, and I was like, I have to pee, but if I leave, I'm never getting back in here. So I'm like willing to like hurt myself just to hang out a little bit longer in this like odd experience. So luckily, like Angela's friend Lauren was just like, she kind of like overhears us, and she's like, oh, you guys have to go to the bathroom. And Kid Rock's like, oh, you guys have to go, like let's all go together. And I'm like, gosh, that's really nice. So we all get to be ushered by security to a bathroom. And this is how like BS like this whole like VIP booth shit is, because we're walking past people to go to the bathroom. Multiple people like turn around and they're like, oh my God, they must be pretty important. I'm like, dude, I'm staying at a Hyatt like 15 minutes away, and you think that like this is like, it's just like it's such like a weird like facade.
I love that.
Yeah. And then so we did that, and then we came back, and then we were just like, all right, I think we're kind of good, I guess, which I think was like the ultimate alpha move. Like I had like another beer, the bands were like kind of switching out, we were already just like, I was like, what else are we gonna do tonight? Like I'm not gonna talk to Kid Rock. Like the lead singer of the band that he was kind of yelling at like walks up, because you can walk up from the stage to the VIP booth, and like Kid Rock is like holding him by the back of his neck on like the booth, like kind of like a power move grab,
like a coach scolding his
and he's like baseman. So he's like talking to him, and I'm like okay, I'm like, well, this is intense. And then we just kind of are like, all right, this was fun. We were probably there for like 45 minutes maybe, and then we just kind of like bail, which I thought was like the biggest alpha move. Just like hung out with him and been like, okay, this is fun, we're gonna go now,
we're done.
So I was like, I'm glad I didn't get like a photo, because I just thought that was like, you didn't really need a photo. And also like he was nice enough to like let us chill there, so like I'm not gonna ask for a photo. I did wish that I was like a little bit more tipsy, because I probably would have approached him with like a conversation starter.
Yeah, for sure.
But I had like nothing going. I was just like, I wasn't starstruck. It was such an odd. No, actually, he was great in Joe Dirt though. He was like super funny, but which should have been my conversation starter.
Hey,
but again,
by the way, you were great in Joe Dirt.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have. Actually, he probably would have appreciated that.
That's so funny.
But and then like after the night, I like Googled him and stuff, and I was like, dude, like he had that freaking like Sweet Home Alabama song, which like he literally just sang a different song over the song, and I'm like, that was super popular.
Yeah.
And he had that song with Sheryl Crow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, he's been around. I mean, obviously he has a 4-story bar in Nashville, but dude, like just the circumstances of which, like, oh, let's go to Nashville, and then all of a sudden, fast forward a couple months, and we're in Kid Rock's VIP booth.
That is well, I think what's funny too is I remember the first time you went to Nashville, when you came back, you specifically talked about how much fun Kid Rock's Honky Tonk and Kick-Ass Steakhouse was.
Dude, and that's what I did about that. Like, I manifested having a better time the next time I went. I was just like, this place was great. It was great. And I mean, he was kind enough. So this is another really weird thing. I don't know if you've been on like Twitter recently, which I'm sure you have. But I don't know if you follow Rolling Stone, but like 5 days ago or four days ago, so shortly after we returned, Kid Rock just released like a brand new song.
Oh, for real?
Which is being like shit on because he's like because he's calling like everybody snowflakes, and like the millennial era is just like a piece of trash, and like that is on brand. I get that, but I just considered it like so. I'm like, I just saw this like person that I have not thought about since like I was, I don't know, in like middle school, and then I see him a couple days later, new music gets released. It's just like such an odd coincidence. It's like just like strange. That's pretty much all the story is. It's just strange and unpredictable.
That is so
I suppose.
funny.
That was my trip to Nashville.
That's crazy.
It was.
Do they live in Nashville, or they just happened to be there?
No, apparently he frequents this place like a lot. Like he's like it's like a Goodfellas situation. Like he like always goes back to his like spot and has like his own thing.
Oh
and
my God.
I'm like, I'm sure he has partners in like owning this like big piece of real estate, or renting this big piece of real estate, I'm assuming. But like, I mean, he's apparently there a lot. And the only thing that I'm upset about is I think later on that evening, which was like an hour to 2 hours after we left, he actually got on stage and like performed.
Oh, no way.
So I'm like, I mean, well, that would have been cool, but like I probably would have embarrassed myself. I do look back and think fondly of the fact that like we didn't like overly linger.
Totally. Yeah.
And then we went to we just kind of went back to the hotel after. I was just like, dude, we had a insane day of just like kind of drinking, walking, checking out the city, which was great. And then it was just, and then it ended with that. Like, where else is it gonna go?
Yeah, it's pretty
nowhere.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just gonna be disappointing.
Yeah, 100%.
And then of course, like when I told the story to like my parents, they're like, did you talk to him about your band and about your music? I'm like, I am not gonna do that with him. Who knows? Maybe there's like an alternate like reality where I brought up that I'm in a band called Moonlight Graham, and he like totally catapults our career.
Going on tour with Kid Rock.
But then for like the rest of my life, I'm like under the thumb of Kid Rock. Like I have to. It's almost like a really seedy like political partnership.
Oh my God. That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, it actually does. Yeah, I'm glad that didn't happen.
That's like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was a rad time. Nashville was fun. Kid has a lot on his plate.
Oh my gosh. I never knew his name was Bobby. That's crazy.
His name is
I'm gonna look it up because I have to.
I was gonna say, yeah, what do your producers say? Do they have it? Do they have it there?
Robert James Ritchie.
Oh, Ritchie.
Robert James Ritchie is such a great name.
Robert James Ritchie is a
That's
good
a
name.
solid like country rock name.
But you know what's more solid though?
Kid Rock.
Yes.
It's my bad. I didn't take into account the heavy metal and the hip hop. So yeah,
I know because he transcends genre, which is why I felt so. I was in awe of him. Actually, do you have his Wikipedia up? Look at his other like monikers.
He's got more?
Yeah, look it up.
Oh no.
But
you already know them.
I want
you want me to experience them on my own.
It should be like the first.
No, it says he was born.
I told you I did research.
Also known as Bobby Shazam. What the fuck is that?
I think that's like a DJ name or something.
I have never heard that before.
I haven't either, and it was great. I looked that up the next morning. I was like, damn it, I should have called this dude Bobby Shazam.
God.
And he would have given me like a free pass to this place for the rest of my life.
Kid Rock, as his DJ alter ego, Bobby Shazam, has released an old school party rock self-isolation anthem titled Quarantine. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I met him in the flesh.
You met DJ Bobby Shazam.
The Bobby Shazam.
The DJ Bobby Shazam. That's insane.
Yeah. I think the thing that like just threw me for such a loop was just like the unpredictability of it all, the randomness of it, and then researching him the following morning being like, oh my God, like this dude has kind of been like sprinkled over like pop culture throughout the last like 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just kind of interesting to relive that after.
That's wild.
After seeing him. I mean, we stayed until we left Monday afternoon, but I was thinking even when we were at like the Country Music Hall of Fame, I was like, we could probably go now. Sure, seeing places is cool and like walking the city is cool, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're done here. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah. It was a good time. I was glad to be there and glad to be back.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah.
DJ Bobby Shazam.
I know. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, man. This was great.
Thank you.
This was awesome.
I hope it turns out all right.
Oh my gosh.
I'm excited to hear all the other episodes.
All hail DJ Bobby Shazam, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. That's the ticket. That's what
gotta be it, right?
Yeah,
all hail DJ Bobby Shazam. That's the title.
All hail DJ Bobby Shazam.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna write that down. All hail DJ Bobby Shazam.
That's funny.
Thank you so much again for tuning into this week's episode of Tell Me Yours. If you want to follow Wes Chavez and his band Moonlight Graham on most social medias, they are Moonlight Graham Music. You can also follow them at moonlightgrahammusic.com. Please be sure to follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram. We are at Tell Me Yours Pod. And I highly recommend, if you are not a subscriber to our Patreon, this is the week to join. Patreon.com/tellmeyours if you want to hear the song. And yeah, thank you so much. Please be sure to like and subscribe us. Share us with your friends. It really helps us get new listeners. But until next week, be kind to each other, and we'll talk soon.